Thanks for joining us, everyone. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We'll begin the news tonight from the Supreme Court, where it's been a busy day for the justices as they deliver judgment on the election petition appeals from 3 states. The Apex Court today affirmed the re-elections of Governors Diri of Bayelsa State, Uzodimma of Imo State, and Ododo of Kogi State. Celestina Area reports.
The first judgment delivered was that of Bayelsa State. A 5-member panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Garba Lawal, has upheld the judgment of the Court of Appeal delivered on July 18, 2024, which dismissed the appeal filed by the APC and its candidate Diri for being an abuse of court process because he filed 2 notices of appeal.
Governor Diri has won. This has been a series of victories affirming his victory at the election. At the election tribunal, we won. At the Court of Appeal, we won. And today, too, at the Supreme Court, the final court, the highest court of the land, we have also won, affirming his victory at the polls.
This victory is not for me, it's not for my deputy governor, it is the victory of the people of Bayelsa State. You brought 2 tested hands, and then the people saw the difference between the 2 and decided to give the mandate to us, which we held very sacredly. And so we already have the trust of the people, and we will continue to do that which had made them to trust us.
Shortly after, the court delivered another judgment which affirmed the election of Ododo as governor of Kogi States. In a unanimous judgment, the Apex Court held that the SDP and its candidate, Murtala Ajaka, failed to give coded and verifiable evidence in the series of allegations against Mr. Ododo. Justice Sadiq Umar, who read the lead judgment, held that most of the allegations were pre-election matter that ought to have been taken to the Federal High Court for resolution before the election. After the pronouncement, there was a wide jubilation at the foyer of the court by supporters of the governor. Also at the private residence of Governor Usman Ododo, an ecstatic crowd had gathered to greet the governor, who was also delighted with the news from the Apex Court affirming his victory. He declared that he is committed to ensuring the continuous progress and development of Kogi State.
I promise to serve them sincerely, committedly, transparently, and with the fear of God Almighty. And for my team, we cannot afford to fail our people. Here we are. It is time for us to wear our creative cap to make sure we make life well meaningful and worth living for our dear people.
The last appeal that was decided was that of Imo State. The Supreme Court affirmed the re-election of Uzodimma as governor of Imo State. Justice Mohammed Idris, who read the lead judgment of the panel, upheld the judgment of the Court of Appeal while dismissing the appeal filed by Labour Party and the PDP for lacking in merit. With the judgment, the Supreme Court has successfully concluded the appeals arising from off-season elections conducted in late 2023. Celestina Area, TVC News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Kogi State, Murtala Ajaka, was today assaulted at the Supreme Court by political thugs. The incident occurred shortly after the Apex Court upheld the election of Usman Ododo of the All Progressives Congress as governor of Kogi State. This video shows where SDP candidate Mr. Ajaka was whisked out of the premises of the Supreme Court by security agents. Meanwhile, Bayelsa State was thrown into celebration mode following the announcement that the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Governor Diri or Joseph Kunde, reports.
This was after the Supreme Court delivered its judgment affirming the election of Governor Diri in the 2023 Bayelsa governorship election. Back in Government House, Yenagoa, the Deputy Governor is joined by members of the People's Democratic Party in jubilations. Also at the King of Glory Chapel, the place of worship erupted on hearing the pronouncement from the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has vindicated all of us. We voted for the miracle governor, and today all the court cases have been laid to rest. So we are happy. We want to thank the judges of the Supreme Court. We want to thank Mr. President. We want to thank our governor too for standing firm.
The women of Bayelsa State, today we are very happy because our mandate was not thrown away.
The supporters believe that despite the litigations, the Diri administration has shown that it is not deterred in fulfilling its campaign promises of rendering good governance to the people.
Our governor, Senator Diri, he will continue to be governor. Nothing will trouble him. Anyone that trouble him, God, our God will chase them away.
The electoral body, INEC, had declared that Governor Diri of the People's Democratic Party garnered a total of 171,000 votes to defeat his closest rival, Silva, who pulled 110 votes. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Yenagoa.
For more updates, I'm joined by NBA Chairman Ibadan Branch Ibrahim Lawal on the news at 10. Triple judgment from the Apex Court today. All of the incumbent governors getting some victory. We also saw an attack on Kogi State SDP candidate. What do you make of this development?
Well, I am not surprised by the outcome of the judgment of the Supreme Court. If you look back from the judgment in Osun, you will see that it is the same trend. Supreme Court hardly reverse elections these days. So, and it has always been a difficult task for a petitioner, to prove allegations of infractions in election. So, it is not a surprise. And when you look at this judgment, it is a settled principle of law. The Supreme Court hardly reverses concurrent judgment of courts. Almost all the judgment today has been dismissed from the tribunal to the Court of Appeal. So these are concurrent judgments, and the Supreme Court hardly reverses it. So it accords to the settled principles of law what the Supreme Court has done. So it is not a surprise. What is a surprise to me is the attack on one of the aspirants or one of the candidates who went to court to ventilate his grievance. I think it is condemnable. It is outright barbaric for anyone to attack a candidate because he has gone to court to challenge the victory of the other party. That does not accord with the tenets of democracy, and it should be condemned by, every citizen of this country. It is barbaric. It is condemnable, and I want to appeal to the government and the security operatives to fish out those people and deal with them. They are enemies of democracy. Those who have done that are enemies of democracy. The most civilized thing anybody can do is to go to court and ventilate his views, which he has done. It is constitutionally, guaranteed the right to approach the court, to ventilate, whatever grievance you have. So for anyone to now decide to attack that person, is an enemy of democracy, and that person should be dealt with.
What do you make of the significance of this happening right within the Supreme Court?
It makes it worse that anybody could be so bold to attack anyone, at the Supreme Court. It makes it more criminal. And that's why I want to call on the security agencies to fish out those that are responsible and deal with them accordingly. It is barbaric. It is unheard of, and I think that every Nigerian should rise up to condemn such things. It is anti-democratic for anybody to do that kind of thing. We should make an example out of those that have done that. It is condemnable.
NBA Chairman Ibadan Branch Ibrahim Lawal, thank you for talking to us on the news tonight.